Abuja was waking up to another rainy morning. While most people remained asleep, one woman was already fighting for her future. For Amara Okeke, every sunrise came with a responsibility she could not escape. Her children depended on her. Her business depended on her. And today could change everything. Before sunrise, Amara arrived carrying sacks of flour. She had barely slept. A major wedding order was waiting inside her bakery. If everything went according to plan, she could finally clear months of debt. Then she stopped. Something wasn't right. Directly in front of her bakery stood a massive luxury event structure. The entrance was completely blocked. Customers would barely notice her shop existed. The structure belonged to Toke Adebayo, the newest business owner in the plaza. Successful, stylish, and determined to dominate every space around her. Amara approached the workers respectfully. She explained that her bakery entrance was being hidden. She simply wanted enough space for customers to find her shop. But her request was dismissed. That evening, Amara returned home. Waiting for her were the people she worked so hard for. Her daughter Chidra. And her son David. Neither of them knew how serious the situation was becoming. The next day brought exciting news. Chidra had qualified for a prestigious science program. It was the opportunity she had dreamed about for years. But there was one problem. The fees were far beyond what Amara could afford. Days became weeks. And the problems kept growing. Toke's customers occupied parking spaces. Her generators blocked access roads. Promotional materials covered every available corner. Slowly, Amara's bakery began disappearing from public view. From a distance, Alhaji Musa watched the growing tension. As owner of the plaza, he disliked conflict. But he believed adults should solve their own problems. For now, he remained silent. Then everything changed. One afternoon, a customer slipped near the bakery. The fall happened because event decorations had blocked the drainage channel. But the internet never saw the full story. Within hours, edited videos began spreading online. The blame landed squarely on Amara. People who had never met her suddenly had opinions about her. And business disappeared almost overnight. For the first time since opening her bakery, Amara considered the possibility that she might lose everything. Her business. Her daughter's future. And the life she had spent years trying to rebuild. What she didn't know was that her greatest challenge was still ahead. The following morning, Amara woke up exhausted. The bakery was struggling. The bills were growing. For the first time in years, she admitted something to herself. She could not survive alone. If her bakery was going to survive, it needed to become something bigger than a bakery. That afternoon, Amara posted a simple notice. Free baking lessons. No experience required. No fees. No promises. Only opportunity. The first day, only one young woman showed up. Most people would have considered it a failure. Amara didn't. Across the plaza, Toke noticed. At first she laughed. A free baking class. She couldn't imagine why anyone would waste time teaching strangers. In her mind, business was about profit. Nothing else. But something unexpected happened. The next week, 3 people came. Then 5. Then 10. Word spread through Abuja faster than Amara imagined. Women looking for a second chance began finding their way to her bakery. One evening, David noticed something his mother hadn't. For the first time in months, people were talking about the bakery again. Not because of scandal, but because of impact. While Amara's world slowly improved, Toke's world was beginning to crack. Behind the luxury lifestyle, behind the designer clothes, behind the carefully curated social media image, was a mountain of debt. One she could no longer ignore. The phone calls became more frequent. Banks, creditors, investors. Each conversation carried the same message. Time was running out. Then came a visitor none of the women expected. A journalist investigating business influence and social media marketing in Abuja. At first, it seemed harmless. But questions have a way of uncovering things people work very hard to hide. The investigation uncovered inconsistencies, exaggerated claims, misleading advertising, numbers that didn't add up. And many of those questions pointed toward one person. Toke Adebayo. Within days, sponsors began distancing themselves. Brand partnerships disappeared. Contracts were paused. And for the first time, Toke felt fear. Real fear. Unable to accept responsibility, Toke searched for someone to blame. And her attention landed on Amara. In her mind, the baker had become the source of all her problems. Even though she had nothing to do with the investigation. Desperation changes people. Quietly, Toke began speaking with other tenants. One conversation became several. Several became many. Before long, a petition began circulating through the plaza. The notice arrived on a Wednesday afternoon. A health inspection had been scheduled. If the bakery failed, it would be shut down permanently. Every day now carried new pressure. Every customer mattered. Every mistake mattered. And every sunrise brought the inspection one day closer. Then another letter arrived. A university acceptance offer. The opportunity Chidra had dreamed about her entire life. But opportunities often arrive with a price. And this one was expensive. Amara said nothing. She refused to let her children see her fear. So she carried it alone. Like she always had. The inspection was only days away. The university deadline was approaching. And Toke was becoming more desperate with every passing hour. Neither woman realized it yet. But a single night was about to change everything. And the fire that followed would expose truths neither of them were prepared to face. The plaza was unusually quiet that night. Most shop owners had gone home. The lights were off. The walkways were empty. And for a few peaceful hours, it seemed as though the tension between Amara and Toke had finally gone to sleep. Then, shortly after midnight, everything changed. It began with a spark. Hidden inside a storage room used by Toke's event staff. At first, nobody noticed. Then smoke began creeping beneath a doorway. Moments later, flames erupted into the darkness. Within minutes, security guards were making frantic phone calls. Shop owners began receiving messages. Amara woke to a call she would never forget. As sirens echoed through the city, both Amara and Toke rushed toward the plaza. Neither knew how much damage awaited them. Neither knew how much their lives were about to change. By dawn, the fire was finally under control. Several businesses had been destroyed. Others suffered heavy damage. Amara's bakery survived. Barely. Toke's section of the plaza was among the hardest hit. People wanted answers. And where answers are missing, rumors quickly take their place. Some blamed negligence. Others whispered something far worse. Insurance fraud. Then investigators reviewed the security footage. The origin of the fire became clear. It started inside a storage room controlled by Toke's staff. The discovery spread through the plaza like wildfire. Within days, sponsors vanished. Clients disappeared. Investors stopped answering calls. The image Toke had spent years building was collapsing in front of her. And this time, there was nowhere to hide. Then a truth emerged that nobody expected. Including Amara. The debts. The loans. The pressure. It wasn't all about luxury. Part of it was about family. Toke's younger brother had been battling a serious illness, and she had spent years trying to fund his treatment. For the first time, people saw beyond the designer clothes, beyond the social media post, beyond the carefully crafted image. And they discovered a woman carrying burdens of her own. But while the plaza discussed Toke's downfall, another day was approaching. Inspection day. The moment that would determine whether Amara's bakery survived or disappeared forever. Every corner was inspected. Every process examined. Every document reviewed. The bakery's future hung in the balance. Then something unexpected happened. One woman walked forward. Then another. And another. Soon dozens of women stood before the crowd. Women whose lives had been changed by Amara's classes. Some now owned businesses. Others supported their families. Several had found hope after years of unemployment. After hours of inspection, the decision was finally made. The bakery passed. The crowd erupted. Months of fear disappeared in an instant. But the surprises weren't over. Alhaji Musa stepped forward and revealed evidence he had quietly collected for weeks. Evidence proving that complaints against the bakery had been deliberately manipulated. The petition, the complaints, the rumors, the pressure, all of it traced back to one person. Toke Adebayo. The truth was finally impossible to deny. Years of pressure finally caught up with her. The debt, the fear, the pretending, the need to appear successful. For the first time, Toke stopped performing and simply told the truth. Everyone expected Amara to celebrate. After everything she had endured, nobody would have blamed her. Instead, she chose compassion. And in that moment, she became bigger than the conflict. The months that followed brought change. Not overnight. Not easily. But steadily. Amara helped Toke negotiate with creditors. Toke began rebuilding honestly. And both women started moving forward. Meanwhile, Chidera received the opportunity she had worked so hard for. University. A future filled with possibility. A dream her mother refused to let die. What began as a desperate survival strategy had become something much larger. Amara's bakery was now a thriving training academy, helping women across Abuja build businesses of their own. Months later, the plaza hosted its largest community festival ever. The atmosphere was filled with laughter, music, celebration, and proof that people can change. As the sun began to set, Amara looked around. At the women she had helped. At the family she had protected. At the future she had built. And she realized something. Success was never about being seen. It was about making a difference.